arts, and entertainment. Students cook for students at Uxbridge Secondary School, Cassidy McMullen. Uxbridge Secondary School might look like a regular school, but students in the culinary art courses would have to disagree. Thanks to the dedication and expertise of culinary teachers like pastry and master chef David Brown, Uxbridge Secondary School opened a bakery run by students this year. Mr. Brown said, "We went to the board and there was another school closing, so I went, hey, can we have that equipment?" So we ended up getting ovens from them, tables, stuff like that. Out of the bakery, they sell baked goods, like bread, to students and parents. They're open daily during lunch and after school. "We teach baking, cooking, and restaurant services out here," Mr. Brown said. Along with the bakery and kitchen, the school has a formal eating space for students to practice serving in. On top of that, students in the course prepare lunch for the other students, along with the teacher. All of our food is fresh. All of our food is from farms and stuff. It's just better for the students and teachers. Mr. Miller is part of the Specialist High Skill Major Program, SHSM. SHSM allows students to complete their high school diploma, while letting them take college courses that steer them to a career in a skill like construction or cooking. Mr. Miller said, "Just getting the opportunity of being in the bakery and kitchen is such a blessing. It's just so cool. Just being in here is so cool for me." Right now, he's doing his co-oping in the class, helping prepare food, cleaning up, helping teach students, and wherever else he can help out. Mr. Brown said, "He's such a big asset to us here. He could run the whole show. I could walk away and feel very confident that he could run the show." Mr. Miller will be heading off to Colorado to do a 1-year course in cooking. Mr. Miller said, "I love being in the bakery and kitchen because I am a hands-on person and I love doing things with my hands. When I am mixing something up, I don't do it with a spoon. I do it with my hands to get a connection with the food." The course is self-contained, meaning while also being able to provide students with handmade quality lunches and providing students with hands-on experience, it doesn't cost the school extra money. Mr. Brown said, "This is the biggest culinary program in Durham region, if not the GTA, and we pride ourselves on that. We have 2 students going to Skill Ontario for their hospitality program." Right now, Mr. Brown says he has 175 students in his classes, but plans to expand it to 200 next school year, with 8 classes a semester.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Van Bilson, and welcome to The Story Behind the Person. This week we're featuring Brock Revell. I can see you. People make a community, and their diversified interests create the charm associated with many locales. Brock Revell, owner of Port Perry Optical, is certainly one of those people. Brock, one of 4 children, was born in Montreal. His father, a printer, was concerned with the unrest in Quebec during that era, and a decision to move the family to BC had been made. At the same time, Brock's uncle, Frank Miller, whom you may remember as the Premier of Ontario for a short time in 1985, owned a resort on Lake Joseph near Port Carling in beautiful Muskoka. He needed someone to operate the business, and Brock's parents accepted the challenge. Brock, who was only 9 at the time, loved the idea of living at the lodge. Summer jobs meant bussing tables and later waiting on them, cutting grass and washing dishes, and finally, when he was old enough, becoming sports director for the lodge. "It was great," Brock described his experience. "I could teach people how to water ski, set up all kinds of outdoor activities, and just have fun." During the off-season, Brock worked as a waiter at nearby Tamwood Lodge. After graduating from Bracebridge and Muskoka Lakes Secondary School, Brock moved on to Georgian College, en route to becoming an optician. It was there he took an interest in fellow student Wendy Johnson. Although they didn't date during their term at college, they ended up working for the same company, the Eye Shop, owned by a roommate's father. Brock worked in Cobourg and Wendy in the Port Perry store. The 2 opticians finally became an item when the store in Port Perry went up for sale. Wendy suggested to Brock that he should purchase it. He did so in 1984, and 3 years later the couple were married.
I'm in the country. It's like people go to have a cottage. I don't have to have a cottage because I'm living there right now. Smaller towns are friendlier, so it makes it better that way. Everybody knows each other. If they don't even know each other, you've seen the person before, so it makes a very friendly atmosphere. You know most of your clientele, or if you don't know them, you've seen them before, so it's a friendlier basis. When you think you're never going to see somebody again, I think there's a different attitude than when people deal with people all the time. It's more like family, and so things are a lot better.
The outdoor life of growing up at a lodge remained in Brock's blood, and under that quiet, unassuming facade is a true cowboy, for Brock Revell became quite the penning enthusiast. Unlike rodeo, cattle penning has no risks to the cattle or riders. This fast-paced, exciting event gives a team of 3 riders 90 seconds to separate 3 specifically numbered cattle from a herd of 21. After the necessary cattle have been separated, they must be driven into a small pen located at the opposite end of the arena. To make things more difficult, no more than 4 cattle are allowed across the foul line at one time. Teamwork is of the essence. Individuals must work together like a finely tuned machine to achieve the desired result, the fastest time with the most cattle penned. How does one get into cattle herding? Brock explained, I started riding when my daughter expressed a desire to get involved in equestrian sports. He took lessons with her, and the rest is history. While working at the lodge, I was introduced to a small herd of walking ponies, which we had for children to use, he reminisced about his youth. I had never been on a horse, and walking these ponies was as close as I'd come. My riding lessons were all on English saddles, and when a friend introduced me to cattle penning, I had to switch to the dark side and ride western, he said laughingly. Brock and Wendy, along with their 3 children, live on a beautiful 135-acre property on the island overlooking the lake. Although he's no longer involved in penning, he loves to ride his horse Friday. Travel is a large part of their lives, and recent trips to the Dalmatian coast and Egypt have given them the travel bug. Wendy continues to excel at playing the cello, and Brock loves sports such as water skiing and hockey. The next time you drop into Port Perry Optical and speak to good-natured, soft-spoken Brock Revell about your eyewear, ask him about growing up at a lodge or herding cattle, and watch his eyes light up as he relates his adventures to you. I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen, and this has been The Story Behind the Person. This podcast has been presented with permission from the Standard Newspaper Group. For more information, visit jonathanvanbilsen.com. Music for this podcast is by Natasha Green of Greenstream Studio. For more information, visit greenstreamstudio.ca.
For more local news, visit www.thestandardnewspaper.ca. The Standard Podcast was produced by Greenstream Studio. Visit www.greenstreamstudio.ca for all your multimedia production needs. Do you have audio production needs?
I'm sure Christopher can clean that up.
Greenstream Studio is here for you.
I am completely impressed with Christopher Green's work.
Chris is hardworking, trustworthy, and on top of that, he has a great ear for audio.
His audio editing and sound design skills are very high quality.
He would be an asset to any organization requiring these expertise and attention to detail.
He just gets what makes audio compelling.
For more information, visit greenstreamstudio.ca.